All right, welcome everyone to Energy TV. This is Anna Choi, conscious business coach, and I'm so excited to have Moira Ní Ghallachóir talking about how to enroll great clients from virtual speaking engagements. So if there is anybody that knows her stuff when it comes to speaking and being on stage, this is your woman for sure. So she has come all the way from Ireland, which is so great. Anywho, so Moira, welcome.
Hi, Anna. Thanks for having me.
Yes, absolutely. All right. So let me go ahead and share with us what inspired you to even start your journey as an entrepreneur.
That's a great question, Anna. I probably many entrepreneurs, I was in a day job, and I was coming near my 36th birthday, and I just started to really question everything in my life. I was living in London at the time. I was a youth worker. I was making about 30,000 a year. I had a really glamorous lifestyle. I was a bit of a party girl, I have to be honest. And I just started thinking, is this it? Is this as good as it gets? Is this all that it's cracked up to be, And I just started questioning, what the hell do I want? What do I want to do with my life? And I cut a long story short, and a trip to Paris later, I ended up moving back to Ireland in the middle of the recession. And what inspired me to start my business was when I moved back here. If anybody knows Ireland, I live in the top northwest corner, which is a really hidden part of Ireland, but everybody speaks Irish here. The landscape is just, it's so untouched by predictable tourism. It's almost like it didn't change with all of modern times. It's really quite still old here. But all I could see when I came here was just such outstanding beauty and possibility. But then at the same time, there was nothing but businesses closing and people leaving, because it was in the middle of the last recession that we had. Yeah. And I was thinking, oh my God, this place is the most amazing place in the world. Are you crazy? And people were like, nobody knows where he exists here. No, we don't have this. We don't have the weather. We don't have this. But I was like, but we've got the rock climbing, and we've got the kayaking, and we've got the islands, and we've got the people, and we've got the culture. I was like, we can really do something. And, I was thinking it feels like almost archaic to say and we have Facebook, we've got this thing that we can use, because it was social media was really getting big at the time. And so I just started creating these really cool adventures, Anna, and I bet you would love it, of bringing people to this really hidden corner of Ireland and being able to give them this, I thought, was a 5-star adventure that they wouldn't be able to find anywhere else, where I was bringing local people together to meet these visitors and take them off to these secret places. And it just took off, and everybody loved it. But I was doing it for fun, but it sparked the entrepreneurial spirit in me. And then after 2 years of doing that, there was documentaries, there was helicopters at one point, we were all over the national news. It was really amazing. And I got at one point, there was two or three busloads of international students from all over the world, arriving in this tiny corner. But the great thing about it was everybody started to really wake up to the possibility that was on our doorsteps that we didn't really see. And because people were so used to seeing things that were kind of process tourism, to go to this place that was so raw and so real, because most places you go to, they want to know where do the locals hang out, right? But here you have a place where there's only locals. There is no tourist bars, there is no option. This is just it. So I did that for about 2 years, and towards the end of the second year, people were really starting to come to me and asking me, how did you get those opportunities? How did you get those clients? How did you get, those sales? What is it that you're doing? And I kind of segued into working with businesses one-on-one to teach them how to bring clients into their businesses. And then where the speaking came in, people got really interested in my story, and I started, getting invited to speak. And then I started to realize the opportunity with speaking. So then I started searching for opportunities to speak. So that's it in a nutshell.
Wait, so you were guiding tours for those 2 years. That's what you did, but you built your business off of that.
Yeah, I had a tour business, and I kind of went from, high heels and fancy pants to mountain boots, and I was a rock climber overnight. There's actually an old photo of me in one of the national tourism's brochures of me hanging off a rock, with all my rock climbing gear on. Yeah, I know, because I just got totally taken into this whole adventure scene. So I basically had an adventure, but I want to be clear, I didn't actually become a tour guide. I was the coordinator. I brought the people and I gave them to the tourism businesses. So
Oh,
I was like getting businesses to work together to create something really special for people that wanted to come and visit the place without having to use all of the technology, because we didn't have it. Like it was a whole load of me, like with 2 or 3 mobile phones saying, be at this location, pick them up here and do this and, pack this. And yeah, it was a real community affair. Let's put it like that. We worked
totally,
really
which makes total sense with what you're doing now. So like, how did you pivot then from that to what you do now?
Yeah, so it was literally, I started responding to what people were asking me for. Like, I didn't set out to like necessarily have a tour business. I wanted to make a difference in my local area. That was genuinely what I wanted to do. But it was from doing that, and I could see like what I was really good at. I had 10 years of experience in marketing from when I lived from another life before I was a youth worker. So I was able to draw on those skills of like promotion, and plus I'm a star. Right. So it was kind of like perfect, but I didn't want to be the one delivering. I just wanted to be the voice, and I wanted to be the person bringing the customers to these businesses that weren't able to find them, and to shine a light on this beautiful corner of Ireland that people should experience. Everybody should experience.
Okay, so first off, a couple things. So what's the name of the place in Ireland? We gotta put that below. I'm like totally sold.
So it's called Donegal, Done.
Okay, I've heard of that. Yeah.
Donegal. Okay. And you know who comes from here? If you're into music at all, have you ever heard of Enya?
Yeah,
Enya comes from here.
Oh.
So this is like her locality. And I actually worked in her bar from when I was about maybe 16 until I was like about 19.
Oh,
so yeah. So
there.
And actually, that was one of the big features of my tours, that you could actually come here. And then I was able to call Enya's brother and say, hey, can I bring this group of tourists around year round? He goes, yeah, no bother. So I bring them into the bar, and they'd be behind the bar, like pulling pints and like, oh my God, it's Enya's brother. And yeah, it was so much fun. But the beauty was the close community that made it happen. I just told everybody, hey, listen, I'm just going to try, and if I can make this work, I'm going to bring people to your bar. I'm going to bring people to your restaurant. I'm going to bring people to your to your kayaking company. And it just worked,
Wow.
But it was never going to be a long-term business for me. And the pivot for me was when I realized that the question that I was getting asked the most was, how did you get those customers? How did you make those sales? What is it that you're doing? Can you show me how to do that? And I was just like, of course I can. So then I started working with one-on-one businesses, teaching them how to sell without being salesy. Right. Because nobody wants to be like, that person doing the hard sell. So then I just was teaching people how to inspire people to want what they had to offer. So that was my pivot.
So a couple things there. So she earlier referenced I'm a star. So for those who aren't familiar with Roger James Hamilton work, that's referencing the genius test, where you have different energies, and she's not just saying I'm a star, even though she is. But referencing really what is your genius that you and only you can really leverage. And so part of that is shining a light on others, which you can really hear is being demonstrated right now in your business. When you were helping the business owners, so was the model when you were doing the tour business, we're getting just a cut of all the businesses that you would bring in? That
like a commission, basically.
Okay, got it. Awesome. So now that, what have been, we want to hear the nitty gritty. What have been like your biggest challenges? Because Moira, you make lots of money, you do very well, you're very successful, very accomplished, and maybe that can even get boring for you. But what have been your biggest challenges or struggles that you've dealt with as you've grown your business?
I mean, every level is a new struggle. Like, what do they say? A new level, new devil, but it's like, even at this level now, it's, there's even more struggles. But I think, when I, one of the biggest struggles that I had, well, number one was believing in myself that I could actually do this. And I think, realizing that this is possible if you have the right plan, the right strategy, and the right support behind you, you can absolutely do it. So there was a lot of, believing in what I was doing. I also had, the battle of who does she think she is, and, all of that, especially when you start speaking and, you start speaking about your results. And, I battled with all of that. And then, one of my biggest battles, and I moved so fast that you can sometimes, for someone like me, you can move so fast that you can miss your own success. And then that got me to a point where I didn't even realize how well I was doing because I was just so busy building. And, that brought with it its own, growing pains where I was just like, I really need to slow down. And I was like, am I not enjoying this? And, it's a total and utter roller coaster being an entrepreneur. This, and anybody watching, like at whatever stage you're at, it is a roller coaster. So yeah, I've experienced a lot of all of the above.
Gotcha. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that. So let's look and go straight into your topic, right? Of how to enroll folks from the stage more powerfully. And so let's, we talked earlier, and we're not going to go into the art of selling on stage per se, right? But how to actually create enrollment around a free engagement to a free offer. So let's dive into that. What would be your biggest first off, this would be the first question. I don't believe everyone should be a speaker, right? But for many, it's the perfect thing. I love it. What would you say? How would you know that this is the right fit for you as a speaker?
Speaking is the right fit for you.
Yeah.
I think that, if you feel like you've got something to say, then you should be saying it. Like without a doubt, if there's something in you that's urging you to want to speak, if you're going to events and you're watching speakers and you're thinking to yourself, can I do that? Well, the chances are you probably can. I think it's really like, sure, I know, that, maybe speaking's not for everybody, but it doesn't mean that everybody can. Everybody does it at some point. Everybody's invited to do a workshop or to do a talk, whether it's local or whether it's online or whether it's doing something like this. So I think that people can really overthink it as to what it is. And that's why I love what you said about the models of speaking. Like, people often think about speaking and go straight to the, hundreds and hundreds of people and getting paid to be on stage, which is kind of a lot of people's dream, that they want to be like this keynote speaker. But actually, you can start with like small groups, keep it really easy, and you can build your skills in speaking and become a great speaker. But I think it's really important to start small. I certainly started small. Like, I live in like this tiny corner of Ireland. There really were not that many speaking gigs, but I couldn't believe how many I was actually able to find in this really small place, which, a lot of the time, the first thing that entrepreneurs will say about speaking, they're like, but where would I speak? Where would I even start? And for me, I was thinking that as well, but one of the first opportunities I got was like at a wellness day. It was just like a women's wellness day, and I had an audience of something like 12 women, and like I was talking about business, but the organizer said that I think most of the women here are business owners, and I was like, great, give me 15 minutes with them and I'll teach them a little bit about selling and how to do it in an inspiring way. And I got my first client, but I like hesitated at that because she actually became a client for like about almost 2 years. So, like, she renewed, like, I don't know, like 3 or 4 times.
How did you do that? Like, share kind of the science behind how you were able to take someone that was a stranger, right? But then have them become such a long-term client.
Yeah, great question. The thing about speaking is, you can create such a connection with somebody in like 10 minutes of just sharing them a little bit about who you are, your energy, a little bit about your story, your background. I mean, people could take months to do that online or trying to create that connection on social media. But there is definitely something about when people start speaking about who they are, where they're from, what they've been through, and they have that connection with people, and people are looking, it's like, can you relate to people, and can people relate to you? And it's really important to always try not be for everyone, to only really be for the people that you're attracting, that you really want to attract into your business. So like, when I do a talk, and today I know that, not everybody is going to be relating to what I'm saying, but there's probably like 30 to 40%. And those are the people that that you're always aiming for. Try not like aim to, please everybody. If you aimed for that 30-40% that can relate or want what you've got to offer or want to get where you are now, that's why speaking is so powerful. And it's just what you can do in 10 minutes would just literally take you months online. And even with virtual speaking, like the next best thing to speaking live, I would always have said, was video, so like this virtual thing we're doing right now is literally the next best thing.
So how do you enroll great clients from the virtual speaking engagements?
Yeah, another great question. So the model for speaking that I use to grow my business from literally being 10K in debt to 500,000 in closed sales in my 3rd year was I looked for free opportunities to speak, and I made a free offer from stage. What I mean by a free offer was I offered some sort of resource, like a free discovery session or a free consultation, or for me would be a 6-figure roadmap session for speakers. And before I'd make that offer, I would create a talk that really spoke to the problems of what I would see that people really have in their businesses. And this is what people relate to. People like get caught up in trying to come up with really great content and concepts and systems and all of those things. And they have a place, but actually what you really want to speak to is the problems that people are having, because that's all people care about. They care about solutions to their problems. So creating a talk that speaks
How
to
did
the
you find out what the problems were?
Yeah, but you should know your problem. You should know the problems that your 30 to 40% of the audience have. And if you have an idea about who you're trying to attract into your business, I know that with my clients, they're not getting enough leads. They're not making enough money, and they don't have enough clients, and they don't have one way of getting clients that works fast enough and reliable enough that helps them grow their business as fast as they want, right? So I'm always speaking to those people. And then when you speak like that, people really relate to the problem. If they relate to the problem and you've got the solution to the problem, well, then this is where the authority is created. So you've got, okay, I've got that problem. I like that solution. I've got that problem as well. Oh, she's got the solution to that problem as well. So then by the end of it, you've almost taken them on this journey, and you kind of want to think about taking your audience on a journey where they're like, oh, I've got that problem. It's causing me so much hassle. I'm like, oh, I really want that solution. And if you do that, that's
talk on that, the problem solution at the in the
yeah,
beginning,
absolutely.
the whole thing.
Yeah, I would always be speaking to the problem and the solution. This is, if the problem is, that you are worried about being salesy, like the solution could be, why don't you believe in what you're doing? Because when you believe in what you're doing, you're naturally enthusiastic and people are attracted to that. So if you can really believe in what you're doing, it solves the problem of you feeling like you're salesy, because you're naturally going to attract clients. And there's nothing salesy about that. So that's just an example. So you take your client, you take your audience on that journey. And what's really important within that is that you sprinkle that with stories, real life stories about who you are and where you're from, or what you've been through, so people can relate to that. And people start to put themselves in your story. So it's like you're sharing content, but you want to make sure that people can put themselves in it. It's not that necessarily people are so interested in your story. It's often that people want to put themselves in your shoes of your story. So like maybe somebody's watching who, they're at a point in their jobs where they can't take it anymore, and they're thinking they really need to change, and they see me and they're like, wow, she made that change. She was able to leave her job. She was able to start something else. Could she help me do that? And I think that's what really makes an enrolling talk with people, and bringing your clients on a journey. And also, Anna, making sure that you're not talking at the people that are in your audience, that you're asking them questions, that you're saying, do you know what I mean? Are you with me? Hands up if you understand that. Hands up if you've ever experienced that in your business. So you're getting like agreement and enrollment from people as you're doing your talks. That's what's really powerful, and that's what creates a really engaging talk.
Great. So a couple things. One is, do you believe in just doing one signature talk, or should it be many things, or like 2 or 3?
Yeah, I believe that there's no need to be creating loads and loads of content. I think if you want to decide what you want to become known for. And once you decide what you want to become known for, have a really great talk that speaks to that, that speaks to the problems that you solve within that. I had a client come to me about 2 years ago, Anna, and she was literally exhausted. She wanted to be a speaker. She wanted to be an international speaker. She was a mom. She thought she was doing everything, but the biggest problem was, so she was constantly changing who she was for every event. So everywhere she was just like, now, she was doing a bit of this and a bit of this and a bit of this, and she was constantly reinventing herself. So she was exhausted by the time she came to me. So what we did was we crafted a really powerful message on what it was that she wanted to become known for, and her brilliance, her total genius, then created a signature talk around that and an offer. And then she took that all over America. And she went from making 14,000 the year before to closing over 76,000 in sales the following year. So to your answer to your question, that was with one talk and one offer and one message.
Awesome. Yay. So to closing in the last few minutes here. So tell me more about, at the very end, like this is what it's about, right? How do you actually make that awkward transition or not, right? At the end,
Preferably, it should feel natural, so it's like you're trying, like, I mean, I could talk about the transition into offers like all day long, but you want to bring them to a point where they're like, oh my God, that sounds great. And so you want to be asking them, so if you're ready to give up struggling to enroll clients or trying to find the perfect speaking gig, or you're sick of trying to come up with content all the time, and you want one talk and you want one offer and you want one message that you can take to stages all over the world, and you want to know how to do that, then I invite you to be one of the first X amount of people to sign up for my 6-figure speaker roadmap session. And that would be like not a general, but that's a specific offer. So now a speaker in the audience knows if they have a conversation with me that they're going to get 3 things from that conversation. So, and it perfectly aligns with what you're talking about. So it has to make sense,
What were the 3 things?
I'm saying what I said, that they would, if they wanted to have a message, a talk, and an offer, that I would lay that out for them in the 6-figure roadmap session. So it's like they know that by coming to that session, there's 3 things that they're going to get. Yeah, what their message should be.
Solution of seeing addresses those 3 points that you just talked about in the talk.
Yeah,
or presenting as a problem, but not quite giving the solution in the talk, but then they get that if they sign up, kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's like, that you've spoken about it. Let's customize this for you. So what would it be for you? So then it would be a natural progression then for them to want to have the conversation with you.
Gotcha.
It all needs to fit together.
Totally. Very, very cool. So you are a great demonstration of being enrolling and sharing your stories. What would you say is the best way that people can get a hold of you or like take action with you?
Oh, sure. So I'm on Facebook all the time, like you are. I love watching your lives on Facebook. So Moira Ní Ghallachóir, you can see my name there on the screen, right? So if you put in Moira and NI, you can find me on Facebook. And I have a free resource if anybody, if you want, I can pop that in the comments, and then people can access. It's a really cool guide on 10 ways to find your first or next virtual speaking gig. And it's everything that I'm doing right now to flood my calendar with speaking opportunities all over the world right now, actually, because, there's no limitations at the moment. So if anybody wants that, I'll make sure that you have the link and that it's in that. And then that there is going to have all my social links and everything in it as well.
Perfect. Awesome. So we'll be sure to get that in there. And Moira, you are a firehouse. I'm just like, woo!
You think I am? And coming from you, this is Energy TV here, right? Could I be any other way for you?
No, it's perfect. Unleash it, baby. Unleash it. Awesome. Thank you so much. Such a pleasure. Please check out that resource guide that we'll put below. And it's been an awesome time with you.
Thanks, Anna.
All right. Bye.